Family members tell us a mother, her 3 young children, and her boyfriend were killed by an alleged drunk driver on I-35 in Fort Worth this week. It's 10 o'clock. I'm Clarice Tinsley. Willie Gunn and Amber Hopewell were identified as 2 of the victims in this week's crash. Her children, ages 2, 4, and 9, are believed to have been with them. Fort Worth police say a drunk driver, a 19-year-old in a Camaro, crashed into the car they were in, setting it on fire. Fox Source Peyton Yeager spoke to family members and joins us live from outside the Tarrant County Jail. Peyton.
Clarice, and Willie Gunn's family tells me this 19-year-old's decision shattered multiple families. They are still trying to comprehend this loss and still have so many questions. They realized something was terribly wrong Monday morning when Willie Gunn did not come home.
I miss my uncle so much. Yeah, it's just too much.
Francesca Gunn is now forced to rely on memories. She wasn't able to stop by Sunday to see her uncle at a family gathering.
And that just really hurt me because everybody else seen him and got the, you know what I'm saying, be with him, but I didn't.
Just before 1 a.m. on Monday, family members tell Fox 4 Willie Lee Gunn, his girlfriend Amber Hopewell, and Hopewell's 3 children were all killed by an alleged drunk driver. Fort Worth police say 19-year-old Eduardo Gonzalez was driving drunk at a high rate of speed on 35W. Gonzalez's black Camaro slammed into the back of the sedan on the Seminary exit, causing it to catch on fire. First responders say everyone inside the burning vehicle died on scene, and it was difficult to determine the ages and identities of the victims.
My stomach keeps turning flips. You know, sometimes I'm just all right, and then next time I get sick. And it's making me sick.
The Gunn family can't help but picture their final moments.
Took my brother live away just because he wanted to be drunk.
Fort Worth police found alcoholic beverages inside the Camaro. Plus, investigators say the 19-year-old smelled like alcohol and had slurred speech. Results of a blood test are still pending. Gonzalez was treated at a hospital and then booked into the Tarrant County Jail, facing 5 counts of intoxication manslaughter.
The drunk driving has to stop.
Alicia Gunn and Willie Gunn were together for 15 years. She says Willie helped raise her children, and he leaves behind 2 kids of his own.
It's a terrible way, and like for, you know, his new girlfriend and her kids, you know, it's just terrible. It's terrible to lose somebody like that. So it's been a rough couple days.
Clarice, I was able to speak briefly over the phone with Amber Hopewell's family. They also live in North Texas, but they're not ready to go on camera or speak publicly at this time. They're still grieving the loss of Amber and her 3 children, but they tell me they too are pushing for justice.
But we're going to begin this hour with an update to a tragic story that we've been following all week.
5 people died in a fiery crash in Fort Worth, police say was caused by a drunk driver. Today, we talked to the father of the youngest victim. Fox 4's Dion England joins us live in Fort Worth with this story. Hey, Dion.
Hi there. Well, the investigators are continuing to build a case against the teen who they've accused of driving drunk and causing this fatal crash. Meantime, today, a father consumed with grief shared with us what it meant to him to be a father.
Becoming a father was
An emotional father remembers his 2-year-old daughter. Amaya Lachey Rose Fisher was the youngest victim in a fatal crash that killed 5 people. And police say it was at the hands of a 19-year-old drunk driver. Amaya's father, Eddie Fisher, recalls her bright smile.
To me, that was the biggest joy of my life.
And how she loved her favorite animated show.
Every time they came on, she heard the background music. She completely stopped everything she's doing.
With his 2 sisters' support, Fisher clutches one of Amaya's favorite toys and struggles to move forward without her. Fisher was once in a relationship with the toddler's mom, who was also killed. Amber Hopewell, her boyfriend Willie Gunn, and 2 other of Hopewell's children
died early Monday at Interstate 35 and Seminary Drive in Fort Worth when investigators say Eduardo Gonzalez slammed into their vehicle from behind, causing it to catch fire. He is charged with 5 counts of intoxication manslaughter. Amaya was Fisher's only child.
The first time I was able to hold her, like the whole world changed. Like I had a reason to be better and do better. Being a father is the best thing. I'm more proud of being a father than anything else in my life. She gave me a purpose. She gave me a reason. She gave me understanding.
Fisher looks forward to Gonzalez being held accountable through the justice system. He also wants to share a message with parents.
For those parents that do still have their kids in their life and everything, to hold on to them tighter. That's a tough time. I wouldn't wish this upon anybody.
Now, police today say there are no new developments in the investigation. Toxicology tests for Gonzalez are still pending. That's the very latest live. Back to you all.
All right, Deion England joining us live in Fort Worth. Thank you for the update.
You saw him just moments ago. The father of the 16-year-old boy says it was a family friend who shot and killed his son over a video game. Good evening, I'm Steve Eager. It's 9 o'clock. 16-year-old Tavion Swindell was at that family friend's home when police say 35-year-old Devon Jones shot him in the chest during a round of smack talk while they were playing a video game. Swindell was set to start his first season on varsity for Southwest High School in the Fort Worth ISD. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager live tonight with more on this story. Peyton.
Steve, and Tavion Swindell just turned 16 last month, and he just started his first week of his junior year at high school here in Fort Worth. His father sat down with me this evening, and he calls his son's death senseless and now is planning the teenager's funeral.
Like I said, I'm just lost. It hasn't really came to me.
Henry Gary is now grieving the loss of his only son, 16-year-old Tavion Swindell. Swindell was a junior at Southwest High School in Fort Worth ISD, gearing up for his first season on varsity football.
I was going to make a point to make every game because I played high school football myself, so I can only imagine how excited he was.
On August 18th, Crowley police say 35-year-old Devon Jones shot and killed the teenager following an argument over a video game. It happened at Jones's home in Crowley, a suburb south of Fort Worth.
I don't know what his issue is. I don't even know the guy.
A place Gary tells Fox 4 his son has visited many times before.
What 35-year-old man? I'm not going to even actually call him a man because for one, you shouldn't have been around them kids while they was playing games. No way.
Court documents say the two were smack-talking and words began to escalate. Jones then allegedly pulled out a gun and shot Swindell in the chest. Police say Jones told a witness, another teenager at the home, quote, not to call the cops before taking off. Jones left with the murder weapon and later ditched his cell phone, according to investigators. Swindell was taken to JPS Hospital and later died.
We finally went inside, and they said they wanted the family of Tavion to sit in a certain area to talk to the chaplain. That's when I knew.
Crowley police posted a photo of Jones's Lincoln Town car they pulled from flock cameras in the area. Jones was arrested on Monday with the help of Fort Worth police.
You're a grown man, you should put yourself in better positions. If you're that angry, you shouldn't have never been there.
And Steve, investigators didn't go into detail on how they tracked down Jones, only saying that they used phone records of family members and also those flock cameras. He remains in the Tarrant County Jail this evening. He's charged with murder and tampering with evidence.
Well, surveillance cameras inside and outside of a Garland gun store show a group of thieves. You see it there using this Kia to smash their way inside, slams into the store, then the driver backs out. The rest pour in, one of them getting dragged by debris. And in the end, they don't even get what they were looking for. The store's owner tells us this is, in fact, the third time in 3 years he's been hit. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager in Garland with the story. Peyton.
Heather, and last check with Garland police, no arrests have been made in this case. They're hoping that the surveillance video in this story will lead to tips coming into the police department. Right now, detectives are going over the surveillance video you're about to see, hoping to identify the suspects.
I didn't really feel comfortable with nothing but 5/8 plywood standing between these dudes again and my life savings. So I basically lived here for the past month.
Keenan Alamon has been sleeping at his Garland gun shop, Lateral Limits, for the last month. This week, his storefront was finished with concrete barricades and an inside locked gate. But this sign has always been up since the shop opened nearly 4 years ago, reading, "All firearms and optics are locked up when closed."
So what did the kid see? Like, what did he see in here, you know?
Just after 2:30 a.m. on July 19th, surveillance video shows a silver Kia pull up to the strip mall. A man in dark clothing and a hood gets out and peers through the front window. He gets back into the Kia and backs it up. Seconds later, others dressed in similar clothing exit the back seat. The driver then floors it, plowing the Kia through the front of the store. The Kia then makes multiple attempts to back out as the group pours into the store. At one point, you can see one of the thieves get caught up in the debris as the Kia backs away.
So he had to back the car out to basically rip the gate down, and when he did, it took basically the gate, the whole storefront, everything with it.
Once inside, the young men holding backpacks do a quick sweep and realize there aren't any guns on display. The thieves grab 2 knives and a flashlight before running off. Alamon and Garland police arrive to extensive damage, glass and debris, with the Kia still sitting out front.
I just want people to know that, like, our stuff's saved up. It's a very difficult task, you know, to be able to get your hands on our stuff. So that's a big thing, you know. And then obviously we want the community to know that this is going on, and it's a very prominent problem. So, you know, people need to be, I guess, a little bit more aware.
The owner also tells me this is the 3rd time his gun shop has been burglarized since it was opened 4 years ago. The first time was in 2021. The second time was in 2023. Those were more like smash and grabs, not a lot of damage. Now this 3rd one, obviously a car went through the front of the building. The owner tells me that he's so far fronted all of the needed repairs. It's been close to $20,000. Heather?
All right, Peyton Yeager, thank you.
White Settlement police are in this week's trackdown looking for a man who shot another man standing next to a car with a toddler in the back seat. Good evening, I'm Clarice Tinsley. Police know who their suspect is, but not where he is. This man is wanted in at least 2 states. Fox 4's Sean Rabb has surveillance video detectives want you to see.
We are in White Settlement in the parking lot of the Red Roof Inn. This is Detective Laura Gonzalez, White Settlement Police. Detective, what happened here and when?
So on Monday, August 19th at approximately 4 p.m., officers were dispatched to a shooting. When officers arrived, there was no suspect or victim located. The victim was transported to a hospital nearby.
Okay, you found some video, though.
Correct.
Tell me about what we see on video.
So on video, the victim shows up to this hotel, and shortly after the suspect pulls up next to the victim, a confrontation happened, in which resulted the suspect shot our victim.
Who is your suspect?
His name is DJ Thorpe, and he is currently wanted. He is from the state of Iowa, where he has a criminal history for felony convictions of weapons charges, and he is currently wanted from Iowa as well.
What is it that you need, Detective Gonzalez?
We need to know his whereabouts. It's important for the public to know that he is armed and dangerous. And if the public has any information as far as where he is staying, do not approach. You can call 817-246-4973. You can also call 817-246-7070, and you can remain anonymous. You can even send us an email at wspd@wspd.us.
What bothers you about what happened here?
It really bothers me that there was a child in the vehicle, and the suspect shot our victim, which is unfortunate as well, but there was also the potential of an additional victim being a child.
What do you need, Detective Gonzalez?
We need to get him in custody and get him off the streets.
All right, take another look at the man White Settlement Police are searching for, DJ Thorpe. Where is he? Get at the detective if you know anything. Get at Detective Laura Gonzalez. Find the man who opened fire with a vehicle right behind the man he shot, a vehicle that had a baby inside.
Federal prosecutors say a man kidnapped a rideshare driver at gunpoint and forced him to drive from Arlington to Miami, Florida. Hello, everybody. I'm Heather Hayes.
And I'm Blake Hansen. It is 9 o'clock. 23-year-old Miguel Hernandez is now in federal custody. Investigators say the driver finally got away after Hernandez made him stop at a dollar store outside Miami. The driver hid in a bathroom until authorities arrived. Fox 4's David Santandri went over the criminal complaint, joins us now with the story. David.
Well, the kidnapped rideshare driver was allegedly held at gunpoint and forced to drive over 1,300 miles over the course of several days. Rideshare drivers obviously never really know the mindset of the people they're giving rides to.
You can see people jumping up and saying, oh, yeah.
Alan Roberson says passengers are always excited to catch a lift in his rideshare karaoke van.
They all can grab a mic and sing to their heart's content.
Roberson records rides and will even live stream for passengers having a good time.
I mean, there are, I think, a total of maybe 13 cameras in and around the van.
But those cameras are also for his own safety.
You never know what anybody is going through before they get into your vehicle. You both are trapped in your vehicle at that point. Either they're trapped with you or you're trapped with them.
This past weekend, 23-year-old Miguel Pastron Hernandez allegedly kidnapped a rideshare driver in Arlington, forcing the driver at gunpoint to drive him to South Florida, according to federal prosecutors. Court documents say 3 days into the kidnapping, Pastron forced the driver to stop at a Dollar General near Miami so he could buy supplies for a second kidnapping. Pastron was allegedly planning to hold the second victim for a $3 million ransom. The rideshare driver, however, hid inside the dollar store's bathroom. Pastron ran away, but was caught by police. The kidnapped rideshare driver appears to be okay.
I make my own hours. I can work 5 minutes or I can work 12 hours.
Roberson says he's given more than 16,000 rides.
I love the freedom.
And he loves meeting people along the way. But stories like this one remind him of the people most important in his life.
You're just trying to get home to your family.
His wife, 3 kids, and granddaughter.
I just want to get home.
Pastron admitted to that kidnapping, according to federal prosecutors, but it's unclear who he was allegedly targeting with that second kidnapping and that $3 million ransom. He's due in court on Monday.
A Denton ISD bus driver was suspended after an incident this week involving a bus full of kids.
Parents and neighbors say that he was driving erratically, purposely slamming on the brakes while children were on the bus. Police now investigating. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager live in Denton with the story. Peyton.
Heather, and Denton ISD and Denton police both have their own investigations going on. And during these investigations, the bus driver is on administrative leave. Now, the mother involved, she recorded on her cell phone her interaction with that bus driver. Take a look.
It's okay. Don't get out my door. Hold the door. Hold it. It's okay. They cannot leave my door. Get out of my door, man. The officers are on the way. I understand that. You don't my door. I will not leave. Get out of my door.
Children's screams were heard on a Denton ISD school bus as a Denton mother of 3 and a bus driver are seen arguing in the doorway. Fox 4 is blurring the driver's face since he's not facing any criminal charges at this time.
You can hear the neighbors saying, somebody call 911, call 911.
The woman taking the video is Sierra Thornton's sister. Thornton witnessed the altercation Tuesday afternoon. Thornton says it all started when her nephews called her sister scared on the bus ride home from school.
They called my sister on the phone and they were screaming, and you can hear through the phone they were loud and saying, Mommy, Mommy, come get us. The bus driver, he's making us hurt ourselves. She goes out and she runs to the bus, and I'm standing right here.
Hey, go lad, you wait for the door. I'll sit right here, wait for the cop.
Thornton says her nephews were able to get off the bus, and her sister called 911.
When they came down here, they were looking, you know, nervous and stuff like that. And I was like, what happened? And they were saying that the bus driver told them to sit down, and that if they didn't sit down, that basically he's gonna like show them. So I guess he was slamming on the brakes and kind of driving recklessly.
The bus pulled over. First responders showed up to escort the children off the bus. No kids were seriously hurt and were all eventually reunited with their parents safely. The mother behind the video told officers the driver repeatedly closed the bus door on her arms, causing pain. Police tell Fox 4 children also told officers that they hit their heads. Thursday, Denton ISD confirmed the driver of bus 116 that serves Evers Park Elementary is on administrative leave, and sent this letter home to parents saying a thorough investigation is being conducted by both Denton ISD and Denton Police.
We want to see the driver be held accountable.
Denton Police also tell us the driver denied intentionally driving recklessly. Now, officers are, as we speak, going over the bus camera footage as a part of a follow-up investigation. The mother who recorded that cell phone video, she tells me her attorney also has a copy of that bus footage.
Fox 4 has learned that a deputy fire chief for a Fort Worth suburb city was recently arrested for driving drunk in a fire department vehicle. The arrest happened last month. We're told Robert Franklin was in uniform and picked up a stranded driver for a courtesy ride while twice over the legal limit for intoxication. He has since retired from the Pantego Fire Department. Fox 4's David Santandri spoke with the Pantego city manager. David's in Pantego tonight. Hey, David.
Well, a Fox 4 viewer is who first tipped us off to news about this arrest. No information had been posted to the town's social media channels, but as far as the arrest goes, the city manager says everything was done by the book. The Pantego deputy fire chief and emergency management coordinator, Robert Franklin, was arrested for DWI on July 24th in a fire department vehicle.
He was attempting to give a ride to a stranded person.
City manager Joe Ashton says Franklin was in uniform and driving a fire department SUV when he offered a ride to a stranded driver who needed to pick up her child. But while riding with Franklin, his driving and behavior led her to believe he was drunk.
She asked to be let out, and he let her out.
She called 911. Pantego police officers found Franklin in the SUV parked behind the fire department, and the SUV had exterior damage.
He didn't ask for any special treatment.
Court documents reveal Franklin's blood alcohol content was at least double the legal limit. The arrest happened in the 8 o'clock evening hour.
Generally, if you're driving a town vehicle, you're considered to be on the clock.
So he was on the clock, just on off hours?
Yes.
According to Franklin's public LinkedIn page, he spent 20 years in Lancaster, where he was chief fire officer, before coming to Pantego in 2019. Now, Franklin has chosen to retire after being placed on administrative leave.
My officers and our staff did absolutely everything they could to both treat him with respect, but also treat him exactly like they would anybody else under the law.
Franklin bonded out after paying $500, and according to those bond conditions, he cannot do any drugs or drink any alcohol. He also has to submit to random drug screenings. I did reach out to him to a listed phone number for him earlier today, as well as his attorney, but at this point in time, we have not heard back. Steve, back.
A Dallas nonprofit is trying to recover from a crime that has immediate consequences. Good evening. I'm Clarice Tinsley. Someone stole a collection of go bags that were for homeless people and their dogs. The Sunday morning crime was on video. Fox 4's Sean Rabb tells us most of the donated supplies are gone.
This is Allison Bill with the Love Pit. And first, let me ask you what that is, Allison.
The Love Pit is a foster-based rescue, and we rescue bully breeds throughout the Metroplex.
All right. Now, this weekend, you were doing something for homeless people. Tell me.
Yes, we had come up with the idea to help the community support the unhoused by creating packets of dry dog food, a human snack, bottled water, and a resource list that anyone in the community could come by and grab, store in their car, and hand out to someone in need.
Then you advertise this where?
On social media, we shared Saturday our address and that we would have a bin available for people to come by and pick up at their leisure. So Sunday morning, we placed them out in the bin for anyone to come by and pick up at their leisure, and a man came up on a bicycle. He put them in the recycling bin, and then he returned in a pickup truck and stole the entire bin of packets. We aren't able to get the packets to the community members that can help, and we lost a lot of donations because of that.
Somebody watching, I think somebody's going to make a difference here. How can they get stuff to you?
You can visit our website, thelovepitrescue.org, where our Chewy wish list as well as an Amazon wish list are linked, as well as our social media on Facebook as well as Instagram, The Love Pit.
Somebody's going to make a difference. Yes, what happened here was bad, but somebody can make it better by making a donation. So homeless folk and homeless folk with animals can get some snacks and water. Sean Rabb, Fox 4 News.
There has been a string of drunk driving-related deaths in Tarrant County just this month. The Fort Worth officer was killed, and days later, a crash killed 2 adults and 3 children. Tomorrow, law enforcement will ramp up patrols as we approach the Labor Day weekend. Fox 4's Stephen Dial is live with more. Stephen?
Fort Worth Police Chief Neil Noakes said days after Sergeant Billy Randolph was killed by a suspected drunk driver, another one of his officers on the same stretch of road was hit by a suspected drunk driver. That officer survived. Chief Noakes and Sheriff Bill Wayburn saying that this issue of drunk driving is preventable.
Put a little forethought in where you're going and what you're doing.
It's been a deadly August in Tarrant County when it comes to drunk driving. Earlier this month, Fort Worth Sergeant Billy Randolph was killed while directing traffic. Police say 25-year-old Diagele Evans drove the wrong way on I-35W. Court documents say Evans admitted to having nearly a dozen shots of alcohol before the crash.
Just days later, my officers were working an accident on the same stretch of I-35 when someone else who chose to drink and drive slammed into the back of one of our marked patrol vehicles.
Jonathan Gomez was arrested for that crash. Thankfully, no one was injured. But that was not the case days later with another suspected DWI crash. Fort Worth investigators say 19-year-old Eduardo Gonzalez was intoxicated when he slammed into a car, killing 5 people inside. Family members told us Willie Lee Gunn, his girlfriend Amber Hopewell, and her 3 children were all killed.
We're seeing an uptick in Tarrant County of DWI. So far, the first 2 weeks of this month, we've arrested 63 DWIs.
Friday, Mothers Against Drunk Driving and law enforcement announced the latest nationwide crackdown, getting ahead of the dangerous driving on Labor Day weekend. Rosario Saenz unfortunately knows the impact of drunk driving on a family. She lost her daughter in 2022.
Losing Leslie at only 25 to this 100% preventable crime is so heartbreaking and frustrating. Even though he's in jail, his mom can still talk to him, visit him, and one day once he served his sentence, she will get to hug and touch him again. My family will never get to hug or kiss Leslie again. MAD
told us in 2022, nearly 1,200 people were killed on Texas roads due to drunk driving. While law enforcement are doing their part, Chief Neil Noakes said the real solution is with every adult before they get behind the wheel.
We cannot arrest our way out of this. We're going to do our part, and we are going to arrest those who decide they want to drink and drive. But we've all got to be part of this solution.
Sheriff Wayburn wanted to make a note of saying that depending on what jurisdiction you're in, the rules are different. He says Tarrant County is a no-refusal county, which means that you can't say that you're not going to take a test. They do blood draws. And so he wanted the public to know that they are taking this serious.
All right, Stephen, thanks.
Dallas Police Department's overtime budget has ballooned in recent years, mostly due to staff shortages while trying to police a growing population. Today, Dallas City Council members took a closer look to make sure the department is being accountable for overtime hours. And Fox 4's Lori Brown live tonight with the story. Lori.
Stephen, stark contrast to when Dallas City Council members tried to make big cuts to Dallas Police overtime. Today, City Council members seemed satisfied with the department's efforts to try to rein in the costs.
There is no question the Dallas Police overtime budget has ballooned in recent years. It's gone from 78,000 hours of overtime in 2011 to a whopping 732,000 hours of overtime a year today. That is a more than 800% increase. Even so, Dallas police leaders explained overtime is actually a bargain for taxpayers.
For every 100 additional officers, we could reduce overtime by $4.5 million. Now, the cost of onboarding those additional officers would be $14 million.
This is the chart that spoke 1,000 words to Dallas City Council members. Today's police overtime costs a hefty $56 million. But what if the department had 451 more officers? Turns out with training, that would cost $113 million. But even in later years, when there is no training, the cost of paying the additional officers pension and health benefits and time off would still add up to $10 million more than the overtime the department is paying now.
We're not suggesting, though, that we meet all of our needs with overtime because it's cheaper. That's not it.
Exactly.
Because from a wellness perspective, we need more officers. We know that.
Chief Garcia said the department's goal is to have a force of 3,600 officers by the year 2033. Then at that time, the department can reassess if that is the right number.
It's important with the staffing that we have on the department. We're asking our officers to do more. And they are. They're stepping up to the plate.
The department is also implementing a new system that will flag any overtime beyond the general order.
That this report's going to be a help for us in terms of guardrails to monitor the usage.
The system will flag officers working overtime or off-duty jobs that add up to beyond 16 hours a day or more than 80 hours a week.
Not too long ago, we were allowing our officers to work up to 112 hours a week. Wow. So we actually reduced that number, and we do consider that as well, their overall mental and physical wellness.
The chief also talked about a sick time buyback plan that would hopefully reduce the number of sick time hours that officers use by being able to get paid for the hours they don't use.